We talk a lot about premium credit cards here at Daily Drop and the incredible travel benefits that those products can provide you. But if you're like me and you've ever applied for one of those premium cards and been denied, then you know that it's not as simple as going out, getting a premium card, and travel hacking your way around the world. You first have to climb what's known as the credit card ladder, of which there are 5 main rungs. So buckle up because we're about to pack a ton of information into this single video and cover every tier of the credit card ladder, the requirements and example cards for each, and of course, why climbing the credit card ladder in the first place is so worth it and could save you tens of thousands of dollars. For starters, credit cards are one of the easiest ways to build your credit score, which in the long term can save you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we won't get into the details too much in this video, but long story short, if you use these financial tools responsibly, meaning you're paying them off in full on time, then you will likely start to increase your credit score, which means when it comes time to borrow money on a house, for example, your interest rate will likely be lower, and when you're talking about borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars, even a 1 or 2% decrease on your interest rate could save you a lot of money. So if nothing else, it's worth it just to build your credit score. But again, you've got to use these cards responsibly. So if you take nothing else from this video, please remember, pay off your cards in full, on time, every time. I have dozens of credit cards, a credit score in the high 700s, and I have never paid a penny in interest on any of them. All right, first up is the base tier, which is typically made up of secured and student credit cards. A secured credit card is when you have to put down a security deposit up front, so I would give the credit card company $300, and they would give me a secured credit card with a $300 limit. And if I ever decide to close this account, I will get my $300 back, but since they are designed for individuals with no credit history, your security deposit is basically an insurance policy for the credit card company in case you decide not to pay them back. Now, a student card, on the other hand, won't typically require that upfront security deposit, but it is going to have fairly limited benefits and is obviously designed for students who likely have no credit history either. You're usually looking at credit limits of a couple $100, and the goal with these cards is really just to learn how to use credit responsibly. How does credit and your statement work? When and how should you pay off the balance? And of course, how do you use them as if they are cash or a debit card to avoid overspending? All of these are very important things to learn before you move into the higher tiers of the credit card ladder. Usually, if done right, you'll only have to spend maybe 6 months at this base tier if you're starting with no credit, and in some cases, you might be able to skip it entirely depending on some other variables like your income. But some of the best cards at this base tier are the Discover It Secured card, the Chase Freedom Student card, and the first credit card that I ever added to my wallet, the Discover It Student. Once you've built those foundational skills and have some credit established of, say, a 640 score or higher, you're then ready to move on to the beginner tier. These cards are still going to have no annual fee, but will offer small sign-up bonuses in some cases and cashback rewards that range from 1 to 3%. Your credit limit will also be higher with these cards and is usually going to be around $1,000, but again, that depends on a lot of variables. And the goal at this tier is to learn how to optimize your spending. This is especially true if you have a few different credit cards in your wallet, because it's important to understand which cards to use on which spending categories, since one card might give you better benefits on groceries and dining, while another card gives you better benefits on gas and travel, for example. And learning how to optimize the use of those cards is the easiest way to rake in a ton of credit card rewards, which will be very important on the next rung of the ladder. My favorite cards at this beginner tier would be things like the Chase Freedom Flex and Unlimited cards, the standard Discover It credit card, and the Capital One Quicksilver card. Also, if you want to learn more about any of the cards that I mentioned in today's video, I'll leave links for those down below the like button to our top credit cards page. And we've also reviewed many of these products in more detailed videos, so be sure to check those out as well. All right, after 6 to 12 months in that beginner tier, you should be able to establish credit, healthy habits, and learn how to optimize your spending, which means you're ready to move on to the mid tier, which will typically require a credit score of 670 or better. Now, be warned, this tier is where you'll first encounter annual fees, which I know some people aren't a fan of, but trust me, if you use these benefits effectively, they will more than pay for themselves. Annual fees for these mid-tier cards can range from $50 to $250 per year, depending on the product, and in most cases, instead of earning cash back, like every card we've talked about so far, this is where you'll start to earn miles and points, which opens up an entirely new world of travel hacking. But even if you're not a traveler, there are lots of great ways that you can put these rewards to good use. Again, in this tier, we want to continue not only optimizing our spending, but learning how to optimize our miles and points, which if you're a traveler includes transferring them to transfer partners or redeeming them for bookings directly through the credit card travel sites. And while the annual fees are higher in this category, this is also where you're going to start to earn some hefty sign-up bonuses of 40 to 80,000 points, which alone are worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars when redeemed. There's a lot of great cards in this category, but two of my favorites would be the American Express Gold card, which is great for dining, and of course the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is one of our favorite all-around travel cards, and it can be combined with something like the Chase Freedom Unlimited that we talked about earlier to directly turn the cash back that you earn on that card into Chase Ultimate Reward points. Alright, so honestly, you could hang out at that mid-tier category indefinitely and earn plenty of credit card rewards. But if you want to unlock those premium travel benefits like airport lounge access, then you'll need to move into category 4, which is the premium tier. For 99% of us, these are the products we've been climbing the ladder towards, since most of us are not going to graduate to the ultra premium category that we will talk about in a second. But at this premium tier, you'll likely need a credit score of 740 or more, which will unlock cards like the American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Capital One Venture X, which have annual fees ranging from $300 to $700 per year. And as you can imagine, with annual fees that high, it's really important that you've established those baseline skills in the previous tiers of how to use these cards responsibly and how to take full advantage of the card benefits in order to justify those higher annual fees. With these cards, sign-up bonuses can go over 100,000 points, and most of the time, you'll have a long list of various credits that can replace things that you might already be spending money on anyways, and can therefore help justify the annual fee. I, for example, was already paying $20 per month for a Hulu and Disney Plus bundle, but using the digital entertainment credit from my Platinum card, I now get a $20 statement credit each month for that transaction, which effectively takes $240 per year off of the $700 annual fee, with just that one benefit. Like I said, these cards also get you access to airport lounges, including the Priority Pass network, or brand-specific lounges like the American Express Centurion lounges, which if you frequently travel, might be a worthwhile benefit on their own. Alright, I will personally hang out in that premium tier for the rest of my life, and I've accumulated millions of credit card points and traveled all over the world using those points with the cards that we've talked about thus far. But for the sake of being thorough, we of course have to talk about the fifth and final rung of the credit card ladder, which is the ultra premium tier. These are the most exclusive invite-only products that quite honestly are nothing more than a status symbol. Just to get an invite, you have to be a bit of a baller, like the JP Morgan Reserve, which requires you to have $10 million invested with JP Morgan Chase, or the American Express Centurion, or Black card, which requires you to spend about $300,000 per year on another American Express card just to have a chance at getting an invite. And if you do get your foot in the door, you're then looking at insane fees like $5,000 per year and a $10,000 initiation fee for the Centurion. Now, you are going to unlock some pretty cool concierge services with products like the Centurion, but in reality, it's just the Platinum card with a fancy coat of paint, and the JP Morgan Reserve is really just the Chase Sapphire Reserve with a few extra bells and whistles. Needless to say, you don't get a card like this for the travel benefits, and that's why I and most of you will probably never get any of these cards, and I am perfectly fine with that. So I know that was a lot of information quickly, but hopefully that gives you a clean breakdown of things and how you can get started climbing the credit card ladder today, building your credit score, learning those foundational skills and habits, and ultimately working your way to those premium travel cards that can unlock the world of travel hacking. Again, be sure to check out that first link down below the like button if you want to learn more about any of the products that we mentioned in today's video. But until next time, happy travel hacking.